Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and we are back with the Battle of the Heims. So, in the last episode, we saw Macone fall. They lost their capital. Might have been able to hold out, but of course, that would have just delayed the inevitable. And we had Niflheim. Things aren't going well for them. They lost the fort. They've got Muspel giants on their capital. Bunch of bad things, basically. Let's look at the messages now, because the world is shaping up to get ready for the next round of wars. Message from Vanheim. Well, I won, so that was great. I lost a lot more Van Heers than I expected, though, so that was not great. It's kind of funny because it could have gone worse for him by a margin. Like, this went in some ways as well as it could. The armies of Macone flooded out past the gates, so they got killed quickly. If they got bogged up in the gates with the Macone god clogging it up with them, I think it could have gone. It could have gone very badly. So, okay. I think the problem was that his disc throws lasted a lot longer than I'd hoped for. His pretender was sitting somewhat protected in the wall, and only facing Van Heers did not help either. I would have liked to attack Muspelheim almost right away, but now I think I'll wait a few turns, getting group luck. With luck on all my Van Heers, I think they can take down giants just fine, especially when supported by Van Jarls and Van Herses. It would also be great to catch and surprise kill Muspelheim's army on Macone's last fort, though. But then again, I would also like to get Macone killed off as possible so I can get rid of his dominion. Okay, so that's that. A message from Helheim. The fight on Macone changes a few things. Until now, my view was that I needed to get into a war with Vanheim very soon to prevent him from taking Muspelheim's throne, and the throne between the two of us prevent him from ending the game. Now I think I mentioned this in the last episode, Helheim is just mistaken all game long about the number of thrones needed to win. So all this logic he's going to say is spelled out under some deep misunderstanding. Now I think that he's lost enough Van Heer that he cannot do both of these things immediately. So what does this mean? Do I attack the weakened Vanheim before he can solidify his gains? If you can, I think the best move is you and Muspelheim plan to attack Vanheim in like 4 or 5 turns. Four turns. Yeah. And in that time, you'll have to finish off Niflheim. I think that would be the best possible move for Helheim. Now, I don't know if they can finish off Niflheim quite then. And once they do, they're still going to have to transit that army to the Vanheim border. Nay, that is human thinking. Obviously, what it means is I dive the fire giants and try to end the game immediately while he has not reached critical research targets. To put it simply, ask yourself, do you really think starting a war with Chris Lycott playing Vanheim is going to lead to outscaling an already larger nation? I think this is a little, no offense to the player here, this is a little bit loser thinking. At some point you do need to know if you're going to get outscaled, but at the same time, you need to be willing to be the one who outscales the other person. So, and the like gray zone in between, you need to be confident that if you were to get Muspelheim, like if you think that you and Muspelheim at this stage in the game, if y'all were to be able to put Niflheim down in like 3 or 4 turns, cannot take on Vanheim, like what are you doing? Like let Vanheim advance to the next round. So, yeah. Basically, you need to believe in yourself. I think a lot of players get too caught up in fear. And I think when in a fearful state, people make a lot of really bad decisions. I think it's best to bet in yourself and be like, I'm going to be the thing. There's scary nations all the time, right? And fear mongering is part of Dominions. And you should fearmonger, but you should also sort of believe that, hey, if I keep my head above water, we can make plays. And, definitely me plus this other nation, we should be able to take this guy out. I mean, you're not always right. But I just think thinking this way, thinking like I'm not going to outscale, I am desperate. Like, it's just you end up, basically, I've played a lot of Dominions games. And every time I make decisions out of fear, I usually end up regretting it. Not always. But every time I make decisions out of greed, it's normally good. So, anyway. Or not even greed, but like just believing I can do it. Like when I'm like, oh God, this nation's running away with the game. I'm not ready to attack them, but I'm going to attack them. That, I mean, I very rarely get eliminated from games, but that's like one time it's happened. There's a few times that it's happened, but that's one of them. It was like there was an asphodel that was getting out of control. I was like, oh, I've got to attack them now or the game's over. I attack them, get absolutely pushed in because I wasn't ready. I didn't have the tech I needed. I was fear thinking. I was thinking, oh God, I got to do something. You've got to think like a predator. You've got to think like, I'm going to kill this wounded animal. That's how you have to approach war. And sometimes predator thinking is like me and this other wolf. We're going to team up on that gazelle, or not gazelle, moose, right? And that's how we're going to do it. Anyway, rambling from me. Okay. Not to mention, properly utilize Firestorm backed by giant scales troops is pretty much impossible for me to fight for another like 25 turns. Yeah, so if Muspelheim was doing a Firestorm rush, that would be really bad news for Helheim. He doesn't have any answers. He would just lose. Vanheim, I believe, does have answers. Yeah. But, I mean, if you get fire resistance on your guys, you can potentially have a pitched fight. And that's going to be really good for a lot of reasons. So, and Firestorm isn't exactly early tech. So if you were to deal with Vanheim, get a lot of research, maybe he gets Firestorm before you. Maybe you have like a few turns where things are going badly, but then you get the counter. And there's Fire Ward stuff. So if you have enough water mages, you can put Fire Ward on things, then, you might be okay. Anyway, I think just believing in like creativity. Anyway, we'll see what he has to say. That all being said, ultimately I'm betraying the fire giants turn after... that being said, ultimately I am betraying the fire giants. Turn after I gave them generous borders, so I would not need to waste time finishing off the ice giants. So God forbid, lose even more sacreds to them, to some stupid script error, and go hunt elves. And could go hunt elves. Wait, what? I'm betraying the fire giants after I gave them generous borders, so that I need not waste time finishing off the fire giants. And could go hunt elves. I'm confused. I don't know if he's saying he is betraying the fire giants or he's going to hunt elves, but I'm probably being stupid. As funny as it would be for a video, I'm not so far consumed by the elf impulse to do this without warning, so he will know I will fight him. What I don't think he knows yet is what it's going to look like. So he's decided to fight Muspelheim. Okay. Another message. And by immediately, I mean, I want to go fight for this throne real quick and hopefully not lose everything I ever owned. Okay, let's see what happens. Got a battle here. Niflheim taking back something from Helheim. What is this? Some ghouls had moved in over here. I don't know if this province had never been taken. Van Jarl clears out an enormous number of barbs. Look at this. This guy has no fucks to give. Not even really an amazing defensive setup here. I'm a little surprised. I mean, this guy is crushing it. I guess he had a really high base defense. We'll see when he's... 27. That's really high. Remind ourselves of the bless here. Poison, fire, shock, cold, undying 10, strength 2, enchanted blood larger. Huh. So this is an even stacking defense. Experience 2, mounted, enlarged, weapon defense modifier. So I guess that's... Oh, a main gosh of parrying. Huh. That was extremely effective. I kind of knew this would happen. I saw these Atlantean militia lining up. I was like, these guys are gonna die. Didn't say it, of course, so I can't say I told you so. But these things are horrible. They rout them and then... Oh, God. I love it. Here we go. So Helheim is going after a throne here. He's got a bunch of these Shade Beasts, which they're not going to be very good. They're going to be good against Niflheim, because Niflheim doesn't have magic weapons. They're not going to be good against Muspelheim, who does. And they're going to be good. They're actually going to be good against Vanheim, who doesn't. that darkness? Oh, nightfall. Twilight and nightfall. Okay, cool. And they've got dark power too. Very cool. Given this was just garbage, I kind of feel he lost too many Shade Beast here. I think he could have let his troops do more of the heavy lifting. I mean, these are totally expendable, but that's kind of a lot of stuff. It's a lot of Shade Beast too. Okay, thugged this out. Okay, so we have a border basically set now. There's, except for this lake, there's nothing uncontested between these guys. And then over here, we've got a pile of stuff on this. It looks... I feel like there were more fire giants. Did these guys come from here, like all the way back down? Are they coming south? Maybe they're anticipating that Vanheim is going to go on them. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next turn. There's not too much to talk about. Okay, turn 33. Oh, man. Wait, am I crazy? No? Oh, Helheim is attacking Muspelheim. I was thinking Vanheim was. I was like, I thought Vanheim said they were going to wait. I guess they didn't have a nap, but they had an agreement. Why is he not on attack? There's also another problem that happens with this chassis. So the Van Herses are equipped with the spear, and Van Jarls are equipped with the broadsword. And you might be like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's not a big difference. They're, you know, not like hugely different weapons. They are. What ends up happening is when you have the broadsword, you end up getting repelled. Fair amount. And so it becomes really hard to do damage. So these guys are actually in some ways like worse at fighting without a weapon. You kind of do need to put a weapon on them a lot of times. But that being said, what the fuck is this guy doing? Why is he casting Holy Word? It's possible he had Lightning Bolt researched and he wanted him to cast it, but I think he did not have Lightning Bolt researched, and I think he's now just fatigued himself out. So I don't know why he was on cast spells, unless he had Lightning Bolt and was expecting light resistance, but he just wasted. I mean, this also was a good... This is a 10 gem item. There's 15 gems down the toilet. Just boop, goodbye. Takes this with some mounted herdmen. Pings this with an Atavi chieftain. I guess he told him he was going to fight him. Because it looks like... I think this would have been... And then Niflheim is running out this way. That's very strange. To the west, friends, to the west. And now I'm just marching westward, abandoning the cap. Strange things people do when they're down and almost out. So yeah, these guys 2 province moved back here, it looks like. Oh, this was a magic phase attack that bounced. Oh, interesting. This could have been really interesting. I didn't realize this. This was a magic phase attack. Let's see, it's the first one. Now, what does that mean? If he had done this, he would have stopped the 2 province move out, potentially. And if he stopped the 2 province move out, these guys who are here, which you can't see because this was the normal phase movement that got them here, so we didn't see them in the magic phase battle. But these guys likely would have had their movement stopped because they wouldn't have had enough movement points to 2 province move and get all the way out here, which means they would have been left in the capital, which means he would have descended this army on top of them and killed them. Yeah. I think it's just diplomacy. I think it comes down to, like, would Muspelheim have teamed up with you against Vanheim? If yes, team up with them. If no, I think it's a lot more dangerous. And the other thing is, like, Vanheim's army's down here. If Muspelheim has some kind of assurance that if he starts a war, like, if y'all attack on the same turn and there's some assurance that that will happen, or maybe before, but you'll, like, set up a great elfing, then I think you attack Vanheim. Because who's going to have to do most of the fighting? It's going to be Muspelheim. But with you attacking Muspelheim, it's going to make it much more likely that Vanheim, who's already got all of his stuff over here, is going to come plowing in here and, yeah. And attacking first means you might have to fight more of the army. I don't know. I just don't feel good about this. Some of this is just a gut feeling. Okay, but he's popped Niflheim's capital, and so he's probably going to storm. So let's jump to the next turn and see if that actually happens. Okay, we have the next turn. And a message from Helheim. The magic phase was to disrupt movement. Yep, called that. Maybe I could catch all those rock throwers away from the fire giant, so the fire giant could not move onto the cap. Unfortunately, I forgot to tell that mage to fire means that when he runs out of javelins, he goes to his... Guys. That failure, that loss of 15 gems, possibly the saving of that whole Muspelheim army, wasn't because he put that guy on a script to cast spells or advance and cast spells because he wanted him to do lightning bolt, but maybe he didn't have it researched or something. No. He wanted to get the economy out of using 2 javelins. What the fuck are you doing? Like, those javelins are not going to swing a fight ever. It's just, oh God. Okay. Holy cow, it's Master Gibber. Let it not be said that fortune does not smile on me this match. So I guess he got Master Gibber. Yeah, he got the water elemental guy. That's nice. He can potentially use this to like sight search better or forge gear or a bunch of other things. So really nice for him. Proclamation from Macone. There's an elder Cyclops who's now the prophet. Very cool. Okay, we have westward we march. Niflheim has decided the west way is the right way. Yeah. Helheim slowly recapturing stuff behind him where he doesn't have to worry about these guys maybe reversing course. I think after this many times marching west, we know that it's probably going to keep marching. I don't think it's going to turn around. I think you can go ahead and raid all 3 of these. I think that's pretty safe. Pretty sure we know this guy is going here or here. Okay, next battles. Takes this. Another huge barb camp. Oh my God, there were a lot of uncleared barbs here. We'll take a look at this too. We'll see the thug kit he's got on these guys. Same one we saw before. Similar one we saw before, but this time with a shield instead of a dagger. Okay. So we're probably going to speed through this turn. So I don't think we saw a storming of the fort. Did we get a ping inside the fort? What, did he forget? This was Pop's last turn. Did he not ping? What's going on? Okay, but he did raid over here. And these guys are bowing up, getting ready to fight. Now, there are elements of this. I know I was kind of smack-talking this plan. There are elements of it that make sense. For Muspelheim to fight you, the area in which they will have to fight you is the cold zone, which they suck at fighting in, right? Like, that's going to be the whole contested area unless you have to literally put them out of the game. The problem may be, okay, we've secured Niflheim, which would be a great win, right? But then, like, okay, well, now they're pissed at me and I need to kill them. Well, now you're going to fight them in the hot zone. So what you really want is you want Muspelheim, if you're committed to this war, you want Muspelheim to attack you in the cold zone. Because for them to be relevant, they can't just sit still. Not entirely true, by the way. Muspelheim's pretty big. And then you kill them in the cold zone, and then there's not as much stuff to fight in the hot zone. I think strategically it's the wrong war, though. And them having to group up stuff over here and over here to fight you means these guys are here instead of down here. And we know Vanheim's going to attack them, and they have a nap. And you can't be... For this to work out for Helheim, they need to take Niflheim. Then they need to sweep over Muspelheim like a blizzard, just taking all these things. Which, fine, you can probably do that for the cold stuff. How are you going to fight Muspelheim efficiently in the heat stuff? Right? We've got Fiends of Darkness here from the Demon Gate. We'll take a look at graphs next episode. And I'll do that at the start of next episode. But yeah, there's just a lot of stuff here. I don't know if that's going to play out the way Helheim is hoping. But for that to work, you need to do that. And while the side effect of all this, the side effect of fucking with these guys now, is they're going to bring all their stuff up towards you, which means you have to fight it. That's fine. Maybe you can. But that also means there's nothing down here. Now, what, some fucking Draconians? Some Glossaus? Like 30 Muspel Giants? You think that's going to stop Vanheim? I don't think so. So basically, this area is becoming very lightly defended. Okay, I think we've looked through all this. Let's go to the next turn. Turn 35. Okay, turn 35. So a message from Vanheim. This is going to be a big... Oh, Jesus Christ. Look at this. This is a huge elfing. Okay, let's talk about what I was saying a couple episodes ago about snowball and momentum and inertia, and 1 minute ago about blizzards. This is a wave. Helheim needed to be ready to do that. Helheim can't do this right now. Why can't they? Because they're fucking around with Niflheim. They're not done. Right? They've also lost some stuff fighting Niflheim. That's fine. You know, Vanheim's lost some stuff too. How is Vanheim going to respond to this? Not Vanheim. How is Muspelheim going to respond to this? They've got all their shit on the border with you. You have made them pull down their britches and bend over a rail so they can scream at you on the other side of the fence. And Vanheim's coming up behind them and they don't see them. It's bad. It's real bad. Okay. This is going to be a big turn. If all goes well, I will take 12 provinces from Muspelheim, wipe out his army on 92, assuming it stays there, and get my first throne province. I talked with Helheim after taking Macon, and we agreed it would be beneficial for both of us to take out Muspelheim together. I don't blame Vanheim at all for any of this. This is very logical. This is exactly what they want. They don't want Helheim fucking around in their rear. Muspelheim has all of their shit on the Helheim border. Niflheim is not dead. Okay, this is going to be very interesting. I don't know when Helheim plans to attack, though. They already have. Seeing that Niflheim is not quite dead yet, neither is Macon. I'm not sure why Muspelheim is not taking this last fort yet. Yeah, Muspelheim probably should have, because they're probably going to get their ass knocked off of it. Okay. Are y'all ready? Let's do this. So, a Cavern of Gnek. Van Jarl takes it. Easy. If it's a contested thing, we'll like examine the thug. Like, even if it's like, you know, like 30 troops they kill, we'll take a look at it. But like this, we're not going to look at. Tinvir. Okay, there's a bit of stuff here. Let's take a look. I think this was just outside searching. Oh no, these are Drog. These are really cool. Okay, we're going to watch this one again. This is really cool. Tinvir. Drog are really interesting. They're 2-form undead. And they get chill auras. And they have fear. They're quite strong. Okay, so this uses up the lance charge on these guys. And then these guys come in. And they're running from fear. Fear is making them all peace out. Pretty good. Tinvir, he loses about 7 of them. Huge defense for Muspelheim. Darmum. Let's see what happens. This is the main force. Is anything here? No, there's not. Robber Home. There's a battle in Muspelheim. He's going for the throat. He's not fucking... See, this is the thing. Helheim's like, oh, I'll go fuck around with Muspelheim. I'll poke them and piss them off. I'll poke the bear. Helheim is like, we're going to kill the bear. I've got like a huge ass shotgun and I've loaded it with like lead slugs. It's kind of risky. Sneaking in a big squad like this can definitely go sideways. The more guys you have in a squad, the easier it is to patrol them out. Okay, for Muspelheim, he paid 4 mounted herdmen. Not bad. Glowing caverns. I probably should have checked this. We haven't really looked at the cave system at all. Let's take a peek down here. Oh my god. Yeah, kicking him out of the caves. Old Man Mountains. Do some chaff. Scales chaff. Berman Heims. Niflheim writing out. This is the squad. Did they go west? Let's find out. They did. The Helheim fort under siege. How did we know? And why were these not taken? Why were these not taken? What's going on here? You're Helheim. You got super high mobility stuff. You're too busy with other things. Can't take these back? Come on, dude. We knew he was going west. When these giants get pointed in a direction, nothing's going to stop them except death. Okay. All right. Van Jarl takes this. This is kind of interesting. We'll see which Van Jarl it was. It's kind of fun for the elf thug lovers here. It's a very basic kit here. Got some gems, though, to do Shroud of Bewilderment and personal... Well, just Shroud of Bewilderment. Okay. Which one is this? I believe that was this one. And then down here, High Peaks. Another success. Some of this also, it's easy for me to like smack talk Helheim or something. Some of this also is the failure of Muspelheim. I think if you're Muspelheim, you need a nap with one of these guys. Or you're probably going to get 2v1. Like if you're, imagine, there's 3 slices of bread, and one of them is going to be the meat. But I haven't decided yet. And 2 of those slices of bread are elves. All right, you don't want to be the meat when there's 2 elves. And if 2 elves are your neighbors, and they're your only neighbors, and they don't have a nap with you, you should try to get a nap with one of them, right? Like, that's kind of the thing. So, was it... And, like, if Vanheim's like, oh, I don't really feel like it, let's not do it, you know, maybe... It's like, okay, I know what's going on. I think you put up your elf defenses, because you can't afford to have a great elfing like this. When you can take an elfing and turn it into a felfing, or a failed elfing, then you're cooking. Okay, this gets taken away from Muspelheim. 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 And then this is a throne battle. These are, I think, the 3 heavily kitted thugs. God, these guys are thick. Almost died, but did not. What lads? It's kind of interesting. He did this with sages here. Let's see what the sages cast off script, because they probably had gems on them, which means they could have cast Paralyze, which would have been the death of any elf they hit. See, I wouldn't have done this because I'd have been worried they'd cast Paralyze. But that just shows that I'm a loser. Okay. That was in Klon. And now we have the battle for the fortress of Niflheim. Knock, knock. Ain't nobody home. I think he could have stormed this a couple turns ago. There's literally nobody here. They're out, like, resettling a new continent. Battle for the Fort of Octus. kind of loses a lot here. Oh my god. Look at that. Look at that. Do not fuck around with Macone forts. Holy shit, these disco boli on the walls. They were just ruining things. That is wild. Let's watch that again. Holy shit. Got those magma bolts. Crush the Draconians. If these guys do rout. But these commanders just hold their ground. They hold their fucking ground. What lads? What absolute lads? Look at these guys. Oh god. All right, well this is a good one to end on. Let's take a look at it. Look upon my work, ye mortals, and weep. What was... Okay, we're gonna do the graph. Tune into the next episode. We're doing graphs. I'm hitting the end button here, and then I'm gonna immediately start recording the next one. We're gonna look at graphs and see what the fuck happened to Muspelheim. See you guys next time.